rideshare driver that drives for Uber and Lyft. Joe currently uses multiple phones to efficiently drive for Uber and Lyft. But this can be a pain at times and very unsafe. That was until Joe found Maximo, the rideshare app that automates Uber and Lyft ride requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and passenger rating, to determine which rides are best suited for Joe. When a ride request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will automatically accept the ride request that matches his filters, and then turn off the app that isn't currently on a ride. Once Joe finishes the ride, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to focus more on his passengers and driving safe.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Thursday night. Glad you could join us. And we have no Gary this week, but we do have Kim's Side Money Plans. We have Dash Theory TV, and we got Hannibal is Hungry. And I know we can cover this without Gary, but it is always fun to have him here too. He'll be back next week. This was he just had some plans, but we're still gonna do the Gary giveaway or the holiday giveaway or whatever is the Gary's apps giveaway. So at some point tonight, we'll reveal a hashtag and a word. And then we'll do a giveaway on the StreamYard wheel. And so everybody has a chance at winning. You can win $25 tonight if it picks you. And then on November 17th, Thursday, the Thursday before Thanksgiving, we'll take all the winners from the weeks. We've had 2 winners so far. And we will we'll have them all go into one spin for $100. So it's like a holiday. Welcome to the holidays, and hope we can make it a one gift cheaper for you. That's what I guess what we're trying to do. So, what's up, Brian? What's up, Tommy? Hi, Roxanne. What's up, Rodney? How you guys all doing? And the others out and about. How you guys been all week?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weather good. Yeah.
No, it rained here like almost all week. Today was like the first day in like 5 days I didn't have rain here.
Yeah. What about you, John? Because I know you and I kind of get the same. We got dumped. We got dumped on with snow today. Then clouds, then rain, and then we got to about 60 degrees and sunny. We did the 4 seasons in a day.
That's a lot. That's interesting. I think that was interesting in Arizona. You know, Arizona is usually the warmest part of I think most locations here.
Yeah.
And so it would have been the 80s, and then over the last probably 4 days, it has dropped overnight. And when I say dropped in Arizona and Phoenix, especially, I'm talking about in the 50s and the 60s, which is cold relatively. When you lose 30 degrees overnight, so no snow. But not mentioning the getting the snow in your area makes sense why we get the cold front here.
Yeah, we had a low. We had a low of 29 today and a high of 65.
How much snow did you get?
Not enough to stick, but it was big flakes.
I love big flakes.
Yeah, but when the sun comes out here, it takes it away so quick. It turns more like into where John lives. You guys all think of me as being in the mountains, but really, I'm at the base of them. It's a 5,000. It's a mile high desert, is where I am, and then the mountains start right at Denver. So, but yeah, we did the 4 seasons in a day. Always crazy, always weird. Always brings out the weirdness in people too.
Yeah. That happened the day my daughter was born. We saw like all 4 seasons the day she was born. It was weird. It was like 60 degrees, then it was a nice storm, and then went into a snowstorm. It was just a crazy, crazy day.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. I think we're already supposed to go back up tomorrow. I saw it was like sunny and 61 tomorrow. So I don't know. I guess it was just passing over quick, but I have my avalanche apps going. I'm already getting ready for snowboard season big time. I didn't do enough last year, so I'm all about it this year. I told Marissa too that, I'm gonna be doing a lot, and I'm getting my last certification, so I'm really stoked.
Nice.
Yeah. And all I'll have left to do after that to truly be able to go do search and rescue is the 60 days of paramedic. But I don't have to do that right now. I can do that when I want. That part can be when I want.
Good
Steve, have you watched the movie Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone? You be doing that? That movie badass.
I don't think so because he had
No?
like stunt doubles. And, it's probably
half the
only
movie was
this
running
high
without a
off the
coat.
ground.
Yeah, it may not have been realistic, but it was pretty good, pretty cool.
Yeah,
actually.
no, yeah. No, it's just it's just a lot of people do it out here. It's a big deal. People get lost a lot out here.
I don't have enough coordination for snowboarding. I would fall over every 5 seconds.
And it's more than that anyway too. You got to take split skis and stuff, and you got to hike up. You put you put tracks on the bottom of them. They kind of can grab the snow, so you can actually walk up with split boards and stuff, and it gets pretty interesting. But yeah. We'll see. I just want to get all the avalanche training behind me, and that's the main part. I have one thing left, but after that, I would just need to do that before moving into the mountains or anything like that. But I got 2 years left before my son's out of high school, so I got some time.
Yeah.
Sorry, before you go and move into the mountains.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you gonna be like one of those off-grid people?
No. Because here in Colorado, there's great place. Like Summit County is awesome. It's awesome. It's an hour from Denver. You got A-Basin, Keystone, Breckenridge, Copper Mountain, Vail, all within 25 minutes. Frisco, the main town. So that whole area is very populated too. It's awesome.
Yeah, I can do the lodge lounge in front of a fireplace with a glass of wine, just like the best of them.
That sounds great.
Right?
And Steve can wrestle with the avalanche,
big Christmas tree. Yeah,
I'll sit in the lodge all day long. I'm good.
The sweater, the fit on. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, big hot tubs outside, all that stuff.
Hannibal and I will be at the bar. You guys can go out and have your fun.
Absolutely.
Well, they bring you drinks right to the hot tubs, so.
Oh, all right.
Hot tub in the winter.
In the hot tubs, yeah. And because it's outside, for anybody, I see the W, they call me Weed Dash. I always see him when he comes in here. He always says that when he comes in here. What's up, man? So I'm gonna plug him for a minute and say that here in Colorado, most of the hot tubs, some you can tell it won't be cool, but are very green friendly.
Nice.
All right.
So most people, even if you don't want to partake, you can count on in the 20 seaters. There's going to be partaking, so you better be ready to just deal with it.
I mean, you can get the same effect without even having to partake. It's like that.
Right. It's just even at places you might not think, like Breckenridge and stuff. Like if there's two older ladies, in the beginning nobody would have dared do it in front of them. When it was first starting here 10 years ago. Now it's almost like people get in and they're like, you ladies want in? And if they don't or they have a problem with it, they just got to go because it's just going to happen. It's
just going to happen. What a way. You want in? No? Well,
they have no say in it. There was a time when people were very careful and if you got caught doing that, the resorts still cared. All that time is gone. Like hotel employees, they literally don't even know where to fall because you're paying so much to stay in a hotel. They're not going to get you in trouble. Inside the hotel or whatever, but you everybody just gets away with everything here. That's especially up in the mountains. It's kind of how it is. But
the West Coast and in the mountains, yeah, the definition of mile high.
Yeah. Well, that's like a mile, and that's almost 2 miles.
2 miles high.
Yeah. But okay. So I guess we got a couple DoorDash stories here first. Because Kim, I thought at first you were doing the one Hannibal did a video about. I feel like we should talk about both of them. But what's your internet slams the entitled DoorDash drivers?
So this is actually I found very amusing. So that's why I actually picked it. So a customer, another TikTok person went viral, but she received a quote unquote condescending letter from her DoorDash delivery driver that she didn't leave a large enough tip. So just to give you guys kind of a little background. So this TikTok got 281,000 views and then also 2,500 comments. I actually just went to go look at the comments before I got on here, and it's up to 3,300 comments at this point. So it's even gained even more traction. But basically, she ordered from a restaurant 2 miles away. The subtotal was like $15, and she tipped $5.55. So to me, that's actually a pretty in DoorDash standards, I think that's actually a pretty decent tip. But the driver said in the letter that no matter whether it is a mile or 10 miles away, the expectation is that every customer tipped a minimum of $10.
So
Yet
the
driver
letter
took that order.
the letter to the customer is an actual letter. Wait,
Yeah, she actually has it up on her TikTok. It's very brief, but it's like a long letter about how like they must have like these like mass distributed, like going from like customer to customer, handing them out, because like it was a typed, like almost legal looking document, and the first half of it was in English and the second half of it was in Spanish. So it was like they put some like time and effort into like this letter. But yeah, and the letter basically says that, that basically no matter what, every customer in DoorDash should be tipping like $10 or more. Like that's just the etiquette. So the article goes on, and at the bottom they actually asked an etiquette expert for this article, and they said that every DoorDash customer should take into consideration the services that they're requesting of the driver, and minimum expectation should be 10 to 15%, and then goes up from there. But that's according to an etiquette expert, just because the times are changing and the expectations are changing from drivers, and a lot of customers don't realize what drivers go through. So what I found funny, because I was briefly like skimming through some of the comments actually on the TikTok, and this is so true. At least I thought it was true. Someone said if he was looking for a $10 tip, why did he even take that order?
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
So, yeah.
Was there anything about how long this guy had done DoorDash, or
There was nothing on the
was
driver.
it like his first trip?
No, the girl didn't even want to report it. She didn't report it to DoorDash. She didn't want to report it to DoorDash. She used to be a DoorDash driver herself. So she goes, she felt like the guy obviously needed the money or he wouldn't have attached that letter. So she didn't want to get anybody into trouble, but she thought it was funny and absolutely ridiculous that a driver went through all this trouble to write a letter that was absolutely ridiculous.
He handwrites the letter.
No, it was typed.
He types.
It was typed.
He types out a copy in English and Spanish.
Yeah.
He probably, to be fair, he probably just copy pasted the English into Google Translate for the Spanish.
Okay. But still, man, like, okay. I'm like sensing sociopath, so like let's talk for a minute.
I'm sensing delusional, because you're delivering $5 orders saying that your minimum expectation is $10 tips. Like, come on, bro.
I would almost tip that guy $20 to forget where I lived.
Like that's one of those orders where, like, if you see him, that name come up again, like your dasher is so, like, oh no, not him again.
Can I unassign it?
How did he type it?
What?
How did he type this thing?
Yeah,
he gets the order.
He probably printed 100 in the morning at home before
like
starting his dash.
Copies of it and was starting to hand it out to all of his customers that he delivered to. I don't know.
What the?
It looked like it was like a mass-produced letter. Like you have to go, like if you go into the article, yeah. When you go, if you guys can go into the article, like actually click on the TikTok video. It's actually kind of highly amusing.
Wow.
Is this real?
No, it definitely is real.
That's what you guys are gonna say when I'm slashing dumplings to the Instacarts, and it's coming. It's coming. You guys are gonna be like, "Is this real?" It's real.
See how long you last doing that.
My guess is I'm gonna make it a little bit because the holidays are coming up. They're not gonna look for trouble. It would take somebody calling it in, like we've said.
Yeah.
But I guess Kim just proved that like somebody did call it in. I mean,
but I guess my thing is, I'll say it to you guys. Like, what do you think that this customer should have tipped. To me, I think she had tipped appropriately. It was over 20% of her bill.
$5
so
on a $15. That's a
yeah,
solid tip. Anything above 5, and I think I read that like it was like 2 miles or something. Maybe it wasn't even that far.
yeah, it was a 2-mile trip.
So $5, that's probably $2.50. I mean, it's probably $7.50. Total. That's not a bad trip. I mean, I would love it. Don't get me wrong. If it was $12.50, but it's not going to happen.
It's almost like threatening, though, to put that letter out.
It's intimidating, yeah. There's like an intimidating kind of factor, like
because that person's thinking, dude, I just wanted food. Even if they didn't tip, which isn't right, but even if they didn't tip, that's not right because that person just is ordering food. And if they get a letter saying, hey, you didn't tip me enough, man, like you might be like, wait, what did I do wrong? And why is this person
add more tips on the app or something? Like what exactly?
If anything, I feel like if he did that on like Uber Eats, somebody might actually just take that tip away.
But if he mass produced these letters, you can't tell me someone didn't report it already. With the way
there's a good chance. There's a good chance. Yeah, there's a good chance.
Yeah, this person needs to do something else. Clearly,
I would like to see. I would like to know a couple things. I'd like to know how long he had been dashing, how many dashes he had done, and I'd like to see how many, or I'd like to know how many of those letters he got out before he was deactivated. Like if he printed 100, he get like 70 out, or
to put that kind of effort, you're frustrated with what you're doing.
Yeah,
and it feels like I don't know if you guys seen this movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas, where you've been doing the job for so long, you start kind of losing it and you become aggressive towards people. And that is, you can say there's some level of aggression, there's some level of intimidation. It's like, hey, listen, you need to give me more money. When that driver took the job, it came onto his phone, he accepted it, or he or she, whoever did it. That's your decision. You weren't forced to do it. And then now you're looking to get more money out of people, and then feel like it's like extorting kind of thing. Like, you didn't give enough money to me. It should be $10 minimum. Who says that? The order is a fair order to people who actually do this regularly. Just seems a very weird, awkward, and that's the thing, man. There's so many weirdos doing this stuff. So many weirdos.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it kind of makes me feel a little strange about what I'm about to do, but mine's going to be much nicer.
Maybe much nicer. You basically say, I can do this better than what you're currently doing. It's kind of like, I don't know, you're going to someone and say, hey, I could be a better partner for you, than this person over here. He sucks. Oh, she sucks. Like that sounds like what you're trying to do. But
also, from a customer, you can also get that accountability too.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I would love to hear your feedback on my service performance. And I'm going to steer them to my dumpling page as my only way to contact me.
Page.
Yeah. I guess, like in the I don't know. I guess I just feel like money brings out rage mindset sometimes in people, and I feel like this is like one of those cases.
Yeah, I mean, and we see a few like videos or some examples of people texting after they didn't get they got no tip, or it was a low tip. All that is wrong. Don't do it. You're frustrated. Turn off the app. Take a break. You do not want to jeopardize future earnings because you're frustrated with a tip. Like, it just doesn't make sense. You're still you're taking this. You're taking the offer. Just deliver the offer and move on. And obviously it's not just the money. There's an issue. There's frustrations in that person's life that they're not confronting. It's not because they got short $5.
I think the other thing is 9 times out of 10, I'd venture to say even probably 99 times out of 100, venting, giving this letter, doing this, following up with the customer is not going to result in more money. It's more likely going to result in less money. If anything, it's going to result in deactivations and whatnot. So
yeah,
it's counterintuitive. So it's just really just blowing off steam.
Yeah, or maybe he was just going out with a bang. Like, hey, listen, I know they're going to fire me for this or deactivate me, but I'm going to try and get every tip I can out of it.
Maybe. It's short-sighted.
Still intimidation. I agree, though. Like, that's not okay. I mean, in no way is that okay. What doing that? Like, that's, first of all, a no tip order you can't do that to. I mean, that's just what it is. Don't take it.
Yeah.
It's. You know, and then if you want to talk about that you didn't see all the tip or whatnot, still that's just how the platform works. You got to accept that to be working. You can't like get all livid. Like I'm gonna go off on these people. Well,
the other thing is too. Imagine this. Imagine they say DoorDash hides tips, so they accepted that order, and then what? Do you see there's no hidden tip, or you staple it, or there is a hidden tip, and then you feel like a goofus when you accept that later on. You're like, oh, they tipped $12.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Which, speaking of DoorDash, I mean, here goes DoorDash again. And then there's more DoorDash and more bad Uber Eats stuff. But I mean, Hannibal's, I think we all saw this, but Hannibal put out a video. So I was hoping he could kind of walk us through that one. I don't know this creator. I checked, I looked today, and I don't even know that I've ever watched anything of his before. But I had already seen it coming up a couple times, and I saw Hannibal's video, and I don't know. I think it's interesting, especially because he's a content creator. I think it makes it more interesting because you can follow this timeline. But Hannibal, you made a video. Can you walk us through this?
Yeah, so I made the video this morning, actually. It was not necessarily a planned thing, but I thought, I saw it yesterday, and I think I sent it to you and Pedro. I think Pedro already seen it. And, he's been around. I've seen his name or some of his thumbnails, and then I noticed a lot of the same subscribers and people who support our channels have subscribed to him. And he does these marathon sessions, working 15 hours a day. He puts a lot of effort in using these apps, and he was accused of being basically was deactivated. I think one of the first videos he was deactivated, and the reason why is because they accuse him of basically telling or going to support and saying that restaurants are closed when they're not, or something to that effect, that he's doing it too often. Then it goes to the next step where you think, okay, his last DoorDash check was $1,700. You think, okay, he's able to cash out, he'll move on, even though he's been deactivated. They're not allowing him to get his money either. So this is where the issue lies. The fact that he got deactivated, he tried to fight I think he tried to appeal. I guess that did not work, but they're still holding his money. And I think he put at least 80 hours or something outrageous to get that $1,700. And now he is stuck in this situation. And, I've seen a few comments here and there. We don't know exactly what happened, obviously. You would hope that he follow all the protocols and make sure that he's not reporting restaurants to be closed when they're not. But I think we all have noticed in the last 2 years, restaurants and bars are closing in different times. Even in my neighborhood, where a bar, I assume, still serve food because 2 years ago it did, and then they tell you things are closing a little early. And why DoorDash doesn't have any idea what's going on with the changing of storage times. That's actually very important because people are ordering from the platform. And if you're ordering from a restaurant that's not open, why is it why the platform still allowing that customer to do that? So he's in this situation. And I do see from the other side, it was actually an interesting comment. I forgot the creator's name. I think Mad Dash I'm forgetting his name. But he supports a lot of our channels. He said he's a big he watches Uber, Lyft, Phoenix, and he says that there's times where he knows that the restaurants are closed, so he's taking the orders anyway to call support to, I guess they give you half pay or whatever they give you when the restaurant's closed. And if he did that too many times, that maybe the algorithm turned up and realized, okay, this is something weird, and then pushed him off. That could be it. That was a strategy that he was using. May not have been beneficial to him, but we don't know. I know he's going to be talking to Pedro on Sunday, and I guess to get some more information about it. But and my biggest problem with this is, okay, you deactivate him for this reason or whatever reason is. He should be able to cash out his last pay and move on.
He earned it.
He shouldn't hold the money hostage. I doubt the algorithm is so complicated or so complex that they can figure out which times he called that it probably was open or whatever the issue is. It's just like any other situation. They did work. You don't want him anymore, cool. But you sever the relationship, you pay him his money, and you move on. So that's my biggest problem with the issue.
That's kind of, and that's what Thomas is saying here too. And that's a state thing, like here in Colorado. And so, but this is also applied to W-2 too. So I don't know where it falls, because in Colorado, if you get fired, you have to be paid every dime you're owed that day. You have to. Even if they have to cut a company check and then figure your payroll out, they have to do a miscellaneous payout. However they do it, they have to pay you that day. But that's a W-2 job. So as I was trying to think through this as an independent contractor, if I had an issue with one of my clients, I'm going to have to deal with that because I don't have that protection.
Right.
Because I'm an independent contractor, so I would have to sue. Like if I'm a plumber working for a contractor building a house and he decided not to pay me, went belly up on his project, I'm going to have to sue him. I'm not going to get paid from the, the state law doesn't apply to that contractor to pay me out.
But
I'm going to have to take him to court.
But I would imagine, though, it's still illegal for somebody to withhold earnings that you've already like a job you've already completed. You already have your earnings. I can't imagine it not being legal for someone not to hold that kind of hostage.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's legal. It's that it's legal or not. It's that person, is like, I mean, think of it like this. So, okay, if DoorDash says, well, we're not going to pay you, and I would hope they, I have to believe that they're doing it to other people too if they did it to them. But if they're doing that, and they're finding a way to either lag it or try to not pay you in any way, then right now, because we're IC, we don't, and because of the agreement, we can't arbitrate with them. So you can't even hire a lawyer to deal with it because you clicked the box that said, I agree, that you won't arbitrate. So you're really in a trap right now. I mean, I'm not saying that it's solved by the IC versus employee model, but there's something weird in there that needs to be addressed.
Yeah,
it's also possible they're holding his money to do maybe some investigation, and then
right. But I mean, like my guess is they're looking for like any one thing, a little complaint, anything on his record. They'll find a way to say they're going to hold it. The longer they hold it, I guess my guess is they just hope a lot of people stop fighting for it.
How long have they been holding it? Do we know? That's the other question.
Well, the video was about 2 days from here, so I mean, he showed deactivation notice. He tried to appeal it. I'm wondering from DoorDash's perspective if they accusing him of fraud, right? Or lying, saying that to try to get as much, I guess, half pays as possible. I just don't see how you could still say, well, yeah, that whole time you've been working and you actually deliver the food, you're not getting any of that. It just seems
no, I can't.
Of course, they're gonna make a big stick. The guy wants his money. You think the easiest thing is, okay, even if he was messing up, pay him, but then don't ever, you deactivate him. You don't have to ever do business with him again.
Well, yeah, that's something exactly. I was wondering is like if it was a case where, the way that it sounds, like it was at the end of the pay period, it was the full 80 hours. But, I'd heard of cases in the past where somebody had been deactivated from a platform and they couldn't use the instant cash out, but they hold their money until the regular, payday or whatever drop they do, whether it's Mondays, they don't get paid to the end of the week. But in this case, since this was for last week and by now definitely should have been paid, if that was the case, then this sounds totally foul by DoorDash. I mean, the whole situation is foul, but especially holding the money. The other thing that I wonder is that kind of going back to, I think, what a lot of people are talking about with the independent contractor versus an employee is when you have an employee dispute, there's employee laws that apply.
Yeah. Right.
But once you become an independent contractor, not even so much as like the whole arbitration thing, but it's like if you got, a contractor to come work on your home to build redo your bathroom. I've heard of cases like that where they've paid the contractor, but they don't finish the work and they can't get the money back. Once again, kind of goes through that whole contractor versus basically a whole different area of the law. So I do think it's illegal.
Used to be a really good TV show to catch a contract. I don't know why I'm mentioning TV shows and movies. Clearly, that's what I do. And it was from Adam Carolla, and they would help out people who had really bad situations where contractors either didn't fulfill their obligations or just did shoddy work. And usually at the end of the episode, it would have to go to litigation. They're like, we're gonna put you under court because you said you was gonna do this, you didn't do that. You either used bad materials or just really bad work. So I understand that angle. But I'm wondering from the other side in terms of being a dasher. And let's say, for instance, he was playing, he's playing not the game, but he knows that these restaurants are not, they're not open. And he keeps collecting these offers and he keeps calling to get the half pay. Is that bad? Like, would you, if you already called and you already got one half pay, would you continue to do it throughout the night?
Is it really his fault though for accepting the good? You shouldn't do it in theory, but is it really his fault for being given those orders? DoorDash shouldn't even be offering those orders in the first place.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out questions. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know if you guys remember when we had Michelle Sleet on. She addressed this same thing though, that and even Flex was on by some odd coincidence too. He was on here and he didn't know this either. And it's probably the only time I've heard Flex not know something was that she was talking about closed restaurants and how like sometimes they'll, people were taking orders to get their half pays and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was saying how people were getting deactivated for that because they were taking advantage of a closed restaurant to take. So, but here's my thing. Like if they waited the whole week, then wouldn't they, I mean, they at least owe him all the jobs he did.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, let's say they're questioning 1 or 2, but he did 100. Well, they still owe him for 98.
Well, they should owe him all the money from any order he delivered at minimum.
Yeah. Well,
if his delivery,
and say talk about like movies, Hannibal. Oh my god, I can't speak right now. Cuba Gooding Jr. Show me the money. I mean, come on. That's a TV. I mean, that's the movie reference. But all jokes put aside, I do have. I mean, I know New Jersey laws better than anywhere else, but I have an HR background. Like you. As an HR background in Jersey with W-2s, the money you received up until the minute that you're let go from a company, you're owed and you're paid out no matter what that is. Yeah. And whether it's, a 1099 or not, I think like I feel as though the same laws should still apply, especially when you're working for, a third party contractor, just like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, any one of them.
Yeah, John McCallion with a really good comment. He's like, this is why I cash out every day. It's not my money until it's in my bank account. Yeah. I mean, I used, when I was really into it, I like the money to stack up, but hell no now. Like I'm cash out all the time because you never know what could go wrong. And obviously he did not do that. And I've seen comments after when he posted that video. You guys check it out. There are people with similar issues saying, yeah, I've been deactivated. I had some issues because of all these restaurants that are being closed. But DoorDash needs to understand, and they have to understand, restaurants are closing for many different reasons. Early, they may not have enough people to work the job. They don't have enough labor, right? Like there's certain times where like we just can't be open. They should have that idea. But I'm just wondering if you have a strategy where you are getting a lot of half pays. Like if you had to give someone some advice on that, what would you say? You say, give a few, but don't go crazy. Like, what would you guys do? I mean,
to me,
I'd say take them all. You're owed them. If you go to a restaurant that the hours are posted and the platform's taking deliveries because of those hours, but the restaurant has chosen to close, Uber doesn't have the time to call that restaurant and say, "Did you close?"
To me, I feel like it's a DoorDash issue more than anything else. If me as a driver, I'm making this up because this happens to me all the time at Wendy's late at night. You never know what their hours are because they don't have staff and they close early. Mm-hmm. You get there. I report it to DoorDash saying, hey, this restaurant is closed. They give me half pay. They mark it that it's closed. Why are they still sending out orders knowing that a DoorDash driver already reported it as closed? Because if not, orders wouldn't still keep coming in.
They keep going. They keep coming in.
To me, that's more of a DoorDash issue opposed to a driver issue because they're the ones who should know that the restaurant's closed just by a driver reporting that it's closed.
Yeah. Nothing on top of that.
I'm sorry, John. I'm not saying that it's on the driver, but the game is rigged, right? There's problems with this. The algorithm is they're not a human being behind it. It's triggering certain things, and it looks like even if you're 100% correct, let's say this man is 100% correct every time he called, it was legitimate.
Yeah.
DoorDash may not reactivate that person, right? And what happens if that's your main source of income? And you're 100% correct. But if you see him and others being deactivated from doing this or from this situation, would you still I'm gonna still do what I do, or be more careful?
I got one better though. What happens if you're one of those top dashers who are going through Hell Week and have to take every single order that comes in, or you can't get to Top Dasher? Like you're almost required to take it. You are required to take every single order in order to do so. And especially if you're on the Diamond program, the priority, like you still need to maintain a 50%. So to me, it's on DoorDash.
Yeah, it's fully on DoorDash, and again, this gets in for me. It gets into they're fighting for what I want. I hate having to side with the Flex Association here, the Uber, Lyft, Instagram or Instacart, all these giants, but that's what I want too, and yet they pull crap like this when they're already back against the wall with all these states. They're still pulling this kind of crap that gives ammo to the other side of.
I don't know. I don't know whether anybody was part of last Friday, the glitch. I was part of it. It actually closed me out, and then it completely took my money away from me. And then it literally took them 2 days for my money to get back into my account. And the only thing I got was, oh yeah, oops, we're sorry. It was our bad. I'm but my money was missing for 2 days. And it was it was a whole night's worth of me going through DoorDash. So it took them 2 days. And the only thing is oops, sorry, we glitched. It's not like that. To me, that's not acceptable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's why I put out a post a while back saying, I just wanted to know. I don't do a lot of polls, but I wanted to know how people felt if the option was there and a deal was worked out with a bank where all the apps you had cashed out at midnight every night for you on every app, even if you worked for just $1 on it that day or whatever, and the fee was something real slight. Would you pay that fee real slight every day just to be cashed out on all of them? And the poll, a lot of people were like, that's, no, I wouldn't want that. But there was overwhelmingly yes.
Yeah.
It was 52 to 6 or something.
You just never, you never know what's going to happen.
Now let me play devil's advocate for a second. Now, say you're in that situation. That is a good movie. Al Pacino, a lot of great actors in that movie.
Yeah.
But but for a second, let's say if you're in that situation, you're getting it. How many orders in a row are you canceling before it can become, in your opinion, quote unquote, an abuse of the platform or whatever they're saying it is?
Yeah,
5, 10, 20.
Yeah,
is there a scenario where it becomes abuse in your opinion?
And I think with him, he's working long shifts, so he's there doing more than the average person, right? I forgot with Steve, you sent me something that the amount of people who are actually doing this full time is such a small amount of people.
Oh my God, it's smaller than we thought. It's crazy.
So yeah, I think it was less than 10%. So it's
2%.
So
oh wow.
DoorDash is looking through the algorithm is doing its thing. It's algorithming, it's doing its thing, and seeing this one driver working all these hours with tons of calls that it's saying that the restaurants are closed, right? That could just be it. Just that algorithm tripped up and said, hey, this is unusual, this is abnormal behavior, and that's how he got into the issues he's dealing with. It could be just something simple like that.
No, I'd say that's the most likely. If you think about it from a DoorDash perspective, they're only going to look at the people making lots of money. They're only going to look at the outliers. So when they see people making north of 1,000, north of 1,500, those are the ones that it's going to be what can we do to look into this deeper? I won't say what will we do to not pay this person, but those are the ones that they're going to try to flag at and look at more closely.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think the stat I was actually using was the new one I had just seen that was 2% of gig workers work 40 hours or more a week. 2%. In this country, 2%. Yeah, I was actually referring to a bigger story. And that 48% worked 0 to 5 hours a week.
Yeah, so I wonder how they're defining the gig worker population, because it sounds like they're talking. When you say
0 to
0 to
48, 0 to 48 works 0 to 5, and I was thinking the same thing, John. I think where you're going, like they use
It took
the
anybody
0
that used a
means
gig
partial
app in the
time.
last year,
Like,
basically. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. So 0 to 5, but this is the Flex Association and the Pew study, and they both kind of met up exactly.
But does that account for all of us who are full-time but work multiple apps? Because if
That's
you
the
just
other
look at
thing,
my
yeah.
DoorDash, if you look at my Grubhub, if you look at my, it would say that I'm part-time, but when you combine them all together, I'm full-time.
Right.
I believe it was, however it was, that this was a deep dive research piece, so I believe they were trying to figure out who was full-time, and they're aware of multi-apping, so
yeah,
I would assume that they are looking at, they would know, Kim, you do, because it wasn't so much it wasn't about what platforms, it was more of a study on the overall, and
But
they
then
would
they
say
would share
Kim is
my
working 80 hours in the gig economy a week.
But that means that they do share my information with all the other platforms in order to get my profile.
Well, they do share your info
Yeah.
with the other platforms.
Yeah.
We already know this.
On the
I mean, like if
messenger.
you're deactivated on Uber, or for anything that's like out of line, you're deactivated within minutes on Lyft.
Wow.
That's something criminal, right? Like something like outrageous.
Yeah, like if even a criminal charge though, where you're, I thought we lived in a country where you're innocent until you're proven guilty, but on the apps you're guilty until you're proven guilty. So,
But the driver dad Tony just has it right. If there's a number of drivers, like there should be, the algorithm should kick in. Hey, if 10 drivers are saying this restaurant's closed, stop the orders from coming in. Hey, like, that's simple as that, right? Like, just you're mad because someone is getting extra money because they can't figure out how to stop, press a button so they can stop.
Right,
this
exactly.
Chipotle is closed. Stop.
Right, like
orders.
once the first driver reports it, it should be flagged, and until
exactly.
somebody, that's what I was saying. Why you don't? I mean, they have customer service everywhere. I know that we're all sent to other countries, but they have upper tier stuff here in the States where they could have a department that. And I know this is a lot of work, but it's needed.
No, but and Gary would know this. I wish Gary was actually here because he would know this better than I would. A restaurant can just shut down the app and say, I'm not taking any orders right now. Why can't DoorDash do it on their end, saying this restaurant can't take any orders right now?
They have to be able to, but
my guess is just the way that they would have to get into too much for that short time. So like, they have all their hours. This restaurant's open on these days, these hours. They've inputted that data. They've inputted the menu. They've inputted the prices for the menu items that are re-upped. They've done all the things they're doing. And it's maybe too hard on the fly to go say this restaurant closed or this one did. And they're just not going to go do that in each market.
Yeah.
They're just like, listen, these are their hours. If they close because of lack of people, we don't know anything about it.
I do agree with you guys.
That's on you. But therefore, that goes to show that you should be getting all of your half pays.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I claiming everyone that anything, because here's the other way I look at that too, is like, if you're worried about that, if you're like, man, if I claim these, they might deactivate me, then really look into that a little deeper and think, look at who you're working for. Like, I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket. If you're concerned about, if you follow the rules and get paid correctly, you'll get deactivated.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
that's reality, right? Like it's a part of something. Like you see a few people dealing with that. We don't live in an idealistic situation, right? Like especially with these apps. So I understand, but I do agree with you overall, you, Kim, and John. Like if they're coming to your phone, you have the right to report them. It's up to them to turn it off. Just turn off the restaurant. Like, hey, this restaurant's no longer open. You're wasting your money. You're pissing off the customer. It's not the driver. We all wasting our time. The customer wanted a certain restaurant. They're waiting for no reason. Usually it takes a while sometimes when you order something from a restaurant that's closed. And then sometimes you put your phone down, you're thinking the food's coming, and you pick up back your phone, and DoorDash says, "Oh, that restaurant's closed." You're like, "Man, you could save me a few by taking it off the menu." When I'm searching for food to order from. So you got to put more effort into these type of things and not punish drivers. So there's no such thing as abusing it, right? I do agree. There's no such thing is abusing it. DoorDash needs to do better.
It's just, but it's also bad customer service. I mean, this poor customer is hurting because they don't get their food. They're starving. They're getting hangry.
Yeah, definitely, right?
But you know what? But you know what? That customer's going to use it again, and 9 out of 10 times at least.
Oh, absolutely, they will.
You know, they could have 10 bad experiences. They're still going to come back.
Well, you don't want to get too. I mean,
yeah, not 10, but I'm just saying, like, people have really bought into this. Like, they're in it for the haul, even on bad nights and whatnot. They have learned to expect some bad nights, bad orders, cold orders.
I know when I order, if the time is anywhere near closing time, I don't order from that restaurant. Just not to deal with. I don't know if it's gonna show up or not. Because if I order, I put my phone down and then waiting a little longer to get some food. So I'm not checking every 5 seconds. So if it's something that's going to close in 15 minutes or 25 minutes, I don't bother ordering. I'm like, forget it. I'll go to somewhere there's time, enough time where the restaurant closed. I know at least it's likely I'm going to get an order from this place.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what Grubhub did when they took New York City and they said, hey, we're going to run this special for and they didn't tell the restaurants. And a lot of the restaurants just unplugged. They're like, what the heck, man?
It's a good way. It's a good way for customers to get free food or free credit towards their account.
And that's what I was just thinking. If it does turn up that the place is closed, DoorDash should owe you a meal there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I think that's why DoorDash is getting upset sometimes at this, that the customer gets upset. Like, hey, you said it was open. I ordered it. And then they're like, okay, we'll give you a credit. The amount of credits that these companies are giving customers is outrageous. Sometimes you don't have to complain. You just say, hey, this food took too long. Oh, don't worry. Here's $15. Okay, thanks. But where's that money coming from? Like, where's that money coming from?
And DoorDash does it at face value. You can literally just go through their app and say something's missing. Is like, okay, we're giving you a credit of blank. Do you accept it? Yes.
Yeah. You have to call sometimes. They'll just like a few like clicks on a button and on a phone, and you got $15.
Yeah. I would say though, to the people asking, like, if that's a real question, should you ask for the half pay? Yes, because if you can't do that, then you're working with a very sketchy company. And I'm not saying it's time to pull the plug, but you should be able to at least do what you can do to earn on these platforms. If they screw up, you call them out on it. I mean, if that affects them deactivating you, just look at it this way: you could be deactivated for not anything, for an incorrect checker check that comes back and says you don't have a good record, but it's the wrong person, and you didn't even work on a day, and you get a complaint. I didn't even work that day. Mm-hmm. Now there's no way to fight any of that. You can't. There's no more fighting that right now. Yep. They just deactivate you, and that's the end of your story.
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard of anyone for a while. I'll point out Legal Rideshare, who I've known for a long time. They don't even want me referring deactivations to them anymore because they said it's a dead end.
That's crazy. It's sad.
So I mean, it's literally run into, well, if we don't like your performance on any one little thing, we can let you go, and that's why I guess all of us multi-app and stuff. So I guess before we go on 100%. Here at all, let's do this Gary giveaway thing. So we got $25 to give away, a little holiday bonus. Call it a one gift that you don't have to buy. $25 tonight, and then if you win tonight, you go into the big drawing on the 17th of November for $100. But tonight's for $25. Maybe. Gary's not here, but as you can see, we got his logo up in the corner, so it is sponsored by Maximum Drivers Utility Helper. So you guys, what's the word gonna be?
I think it should be movie, since we've been talking about movie references all night.
Okay, should it be movies? Should it be door trash? Should it be
deactivation? Hashtag deactivation.
Thieves, criminals.
Oh, Pia, I'm eating goldfish. Yeah, asked me what I was eating.
I'm kind of jealous. I want goldfish now.
Fantasyland.
Is that a movie you've been watching?
What are we talking about?
Fantasy pay. Crypto. We'll make it movies. We'll make it movies. We'll make it easy.
Okay.
Kim came up with that
Hashtag
first,
movies.
so hashtag movies. And yeah, make sure you push that up, the hashtag and movies together. Somebody in here, or one or two yesterday or last week, had a little space, so make sure you got them together. Maximo. Real job. Okay, guys.
Yes,
Don't
yeah.
have
I'm 5 years
anybody
old.
so far. Movies. There we go.
Now we got it going.
Yep. Movies.
Real quick,
well-
what's your favorite movie? All of you. What's your favorite movie?
Oh my god, what genre? I feel like
Uh,
there's.
What's the first one that
Yeah,
comes
that's
out
kinda
your
where I'm
head?
at.
Like, what's your favorite movie?
So mine, the first one comes to my head, Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2.
Oh,
Technically,
yeah.
the whole bloody affair, the mythological version that puts two into one. That
God, that's like
been
an
screened once.
two, but I kind of would have to do them as one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole bloody affair. That's
Yeah,
what-
yeah.
He
Okay.
wanted.
That's what
I
I'm-
think he
yeah.
wanted to play it as a whole, but it was too long. But nowadays, that could have been the whole. Like, it's 3 hour movies all over the place.
So
Yeah.
there's a version of it that's one long, and it's only been screened once in LA many years ago. So it's an urban legend as well. It's a myth, not urban legend. It's a legend. It does exist.
Ooh, somebody put in Con Air.
That's an oldie.
I'm gonna lose
Classic.
that.
Mine, I think. God, I have so many. If mine would be Goodfellas, but
Goodfellas.
it's
Ooh,
That's a good
followed.
one.
But it's followed by My Cousin Vinny. I love that movie.
Wow, that's
Joe
really. God, the Quentin Tarantino movie that I'm thinking of is really old. A lot of people still haven't seen it. Even
Reservoir
Reservoir
Dogs.
Dogs.
no. The one that had Tony Soprano, Brad Pitt.
Inglourious Bastards.
No. Really old. Starts
You're
in
talking about-
Detroit and it ends in L.A.
The Kiss one. The
Yeah,
Christian
yeah.
Slater. I know. I think of the name.
Oh
of
my
it. I know
God!
what you're talking about.
Everybody's in.
It's the
this.
one. He wrote
Christopher
it.
Walken, Dennis Hopper. I mean, everybody's in this.
And Quentin Tarantino did it.
Yeah, it's oh my God, it's I'm
That
drawing
group
a
does
blank on
sound like they will all be together, but I just
yeah, Christian Slater's the lead, oddly, and I'm not the biggest fan of his,
It was
but
like
this
it
is
was
his
the one.
best.
Yeah,
This is his best movie.
it was the first
True
one. where he did-
Romance.
True Romance. There we go. Yeah,
Oh,
the first one where he did what do you call it, the Mexican standoff, and it became his.
okay.
Yeah,
Hannibal
it's got.
Lecter.
One with the
thing.
Wind. That's my mom's probably favorite movie.
Hannibal, what is yours?
It's funny. I just asked. I probably watch all Quentin Tarantino movies 10,000 times. What's the movie? One movie I think I could watch
Heat's a
all
good
like.
movie.
It's an old one. 12 Angry Men. I don't know if you guys even watched it.
No, I don't
Black and
think
white
I have.
movie.
I've
Yeah,
seen it
really good.
once.
Yeah.
Was that the one with the jury and something, or was that 12?
Yeah.
Okay, here's a
Okay,
bigger
I watched
question.
that in school. That's why I remember that. Okay.
Okay, here's a bigger question. What's the one movie that is like you always see on TV and you can never not watch it? Like it's always on TV and you're like glued to the TV because you watch it all the time.
Cliffhanger.
For me, is unfortunately probably my second favorite movie, which is like Casino. No, actually, the holiday season, the one I watch is Christmas Story.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Cliffhanger on TV.
Are you serious?
Really?
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
wasn't
I've
more like
seen
in the
Cliffhanger,
90s
but
and
I don't think I've
2000s,
ever
yeah.
seen it like on TV. Like, I didn't know it was a big movie that
Oh, it's a
that
big
people
movie.
like love to see. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone. Oh.
All right, yeah, we getting some movies.
I think
in
we were
there
talking about
now.
movies for a minute. I think
I'm gonna see. Maybe I can see before we spin this. How many? It was movies plural, right?
Yeah.
So we got 15. So we'll give you guys like just another second. But
surprised no one said
Days
Pulp
Drake.
Fiction. That was a interesting
That's a
movie.
good one.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
God, I feel like there's so many. The Replacements. Oh my God, I love that movie.
No Godfather.
John, did you put your favorite movie in? What is
I
it?
put one of my favorites. Casino is one of my favorites. Before Kill
Oh,
Bill,
I was looking for-
Casino, those are two of mine.
Oh,
Yeah,
Thomas
okay.
has a
I
good
meant
one.
John's like dogging, so I like
Thomas has a
Four
good one.
Brothers,
Over the
that was
Top
a great
with
one.
Sylvester Stallone. Right?
Oh
Is that
yeah,
the movie?
yeah.
That's a good movie.
Any Sylvester Stallone movie is amazing.
Yeah.
Whole,
The
was it the
Departed, yeah.
Expendables, or was that the 1, 2, 3 with all of the guys pretty much in it?
They're hilarious. They're actually really funny.
All right, you guys.
Inception was
So
a classic as well. Yes.
we're gonna do the drawing and a few hashtag movies. And this is you gotta be present. You gotta be present. So
I wonder what Gary's favorite movie would be. If you guys can
Yeah.
guess, what do you think would you watch?
I don't think Gary watches a lot of movies. I've talked to him.
I feel like I'm
about this.
profiling if I say Star Wars.
Yeah, he's a big nerd. Yeah, he probably likes Star Wars. Star Trek is like a Spock or something.
What was the
Matthew Green?
Frozen?
Hell
I think Gary's is Frozen.
Hey, I love Frozen.
Frozen?
So don't hate. I love any Disney movie, so don't hate.
Yeah.
Here goes,
Aladdin
guys.
is that's my movie right there. Aladdin.
Oh, I love
The one
Aladdin.
with The Rock?
Not the new one. Not the new one. No.
No.
I don't like the new ones. No.
Here's
Classic
for the win.
Disney.
Or with Will Smith. I mean.
Nah.
You got for the win. I got my hands in the air, so I'm not doing nothing. This can't be fixed. Tommy.
All right.
Yeah.
Tommy,
He has
awesome.
Great he has great movie taste, and he's the winner.
So Tommy, here's the deal. Awesome that you won. Congratulations. So you will be in the big drawing on the 17th of November for $100. But if you email Gary, so email Gary at middletontech.com, I will text him and let him know you won, and he will take care of it from there. So just email him and say you won. He's not here tonight, or he'd know. He might be watching, so he might know. I don't know. If you're here, Gary, chime in. But congratulations, Tommy. Email him. I'll text you too to make sure that you got his email. Even though I just said it.
Shirtless guy wins.
So yeah, now we got 3 winners so far. We got Chris from Real Rideshare Stories. We got what's the guy's name that won the first week? JP's Corner.
Yeah.
JP's Game Corner or something. Yeah.
Okay. And then
I think
now
the
we got
next
Tommy.
one, whenever you guys do it, it should be hashtag rigged, because apparently that's another really popular name.
Yeah.
They're throwing out there.
Yeah, it happens every time. Every time we do one, it's like, and then everybody knows who won or whatnot. So it's like, I mean,
If I didn't win, it's
Marissa
rigged.
won last week, and
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I mean, it wasn't even her name, so I didn't have to play it. But I said, hey, you got to pass that along. You shouldn't have even put that in, kind of thing.
you wanted to participate.
But yeah, I mean, so it's not rigged. Well, we want you to win. Otherwise, we would just have had Gary won, make it look really rigged. But okay, so wait, we do have a little more DoorDash. I don't even know if we'll get out of DoorDash tonight because we're at 57 minutes. So John, I guess we finish off tonight with DoorDash, and I don't even get to the. By the way, the stuff we will not get to, it's all up on the website Rideshare Rodeo. But there's a ton of stuff going on. Uber New Zealand went to full employee model and already has unions, and the unions are already charging to be in them. This all happened in one day. It's already
That's
done.
crazy.
New Zealand going crazy.
It all happened in one day. Uber's gonna cut down on left turns on all their navigation now because left turns are proved to be more dangerous. So they're gonna reroute you all over the place.
So instead of turn left, it's like turn right, and again, and again, and again.
The customer's gonna pay more money, right? Because the ride's gonna be longer, right? I'm assuming. Yeah.
And
Uber's
Uber's
rerouting me a
now
lot.
in New York City, Louisville, and Cincinnati. Uber is video and audio recording all rides.
I saw
Audio
that
at
the other
least.
day.
Good,
So
good.
That's
Good.
It's part
Yeah,
of their
and
safety
also-
campaign, right?
and also there's a push right now. I don't have enough to solidify this, but I've seen 2 articles that said that they are making people change if the driver flags a name. So if you have one name and a picture of your dog, they're making you change it to your name,
Excellent.
which I've been asking for forever. I mean, this is just a joke. But so that, and then DC is suing Ship for misclassifying every worker on the platform.
Yeah.
So this is all going down, you guys, and this is the kind of stuff I tell you about that's happening. That's going to affect the new year. But we'll get into some of that next week because I mean we might as well just end with DoorDash because I think John's story's fitting tonight, especially to end on because it brings it around that like DoorDash is like so far we've talked about entitled DoorDash drivers who are on their way out anyway quitting. And then we've talked about DoorDash stealing from drivers. Just the way that the wording is that you can't fight back. And now you'd think this is why the government's pushing to have employee model, but here's DoorDash getting government money.
Yeah, so this is the story. Uber and DoorDash will begin delivering the COVID antiviral Paxlovid, specifically when they're filled through Walgreens for free to underserved neighborhoods, the company announced Monday. So this is a new partnership with the White House. Of course, the government is basically paying for this for these DoorDash drivers, or I guess for these customers, to order this treatment, this Paxlovid, specifically through DoorDash, specifically through Walgreens, to have it delivered to them for free. So, of course, it's a government contract. DoorDash is getting paid by the government to make these free deliveries. Of course, the DoorDash drivers are the people really making these free deliveries. So on one side of the coin, DoorDash is getting this pressure from the government to do all these different things. And if you really think about it, it's kind of coming from the state governments, not the federal government, somewhat from the Biden administration, but very much it's all a lot of separate things by state governments. But DoorDash is also with this deal now delivering through Walgreens and through the government for these underserved communities are getting some government money. And the, Walgreens, I'm sure, is getting a piece of that pie as well. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting because, that's when we guys really start being careful, is when DoorDash starts to get in bed with the federal government. And on the other side of the coin, as a driver, that free delivery from Walgreens for that one item, probably not going to have a tip either. So from the patient that actually needs that medication, there's probably going to be a wait for them too. So it's a lot of things that aren't just, I don't think, really beneficial to the customer that much at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Or the driver.
And yeah, I mean, just speaking, like while we're talking about this too, like here, I don't know if we've even gone through this, but I will since we have a minute here to. This is the new 6-factor accountability standard to make sure that you are an independent contractor. So it's like the federal version of the ABC test that's in Biden's rule. Right. So what they're going to take into effect is the nature of and degree of control over the work, the worker's opportunity for profit or loss, investments by employer and the worker, investments, the amount of skill required to do the work, the permanency of the work, and how essential the work is to the business's success. Most important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just sounds right there. It even sounds like worse than the ABC test. It sounds like there's not a chance you're passing that thing.
But the one thing I read on that is that it's not weighted any certain way. They can make one factor all, or can make it nothing. And then if
they can add a new category to factor in. Even they've said.
Well, the one thing, if you look at this, how this applies to gig work, the last factor I think you said is how much does that business rely on independent contractors? Gig apps pretty much 100% rely on independent contractors. So they can make that swing however they want it.
Yeah, I was just looking through, and it's like, and then it actually has the wording that says, and this one's on Lexology, and it says additional factors may also be considered if they indicate whether the workers are in business for themselves. So they can also like go above and beyond and say, you know what, we're going to add this into yours to see, or they can change it around how they're going to determine each person. To me, this is like logistical garbage. Like
nobody's going to do that.
Here's the 6 things, but we might step outside of that when determining.
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds to me like we don't understand how many carve-outs we're going to need to do first.
I don't know. I feel like just reading that, I just lost like 10 IQ points.
I mean, it's bad. I mean, what they're asking for is bad. It's bad all the way around. But hopefully, we'll see. And make sure everybody. Oh, next week before we even start signing out of this, I want to tell you guys, I do have Kim Cavan coming on. I've had her on before, but it's gonna be 6 days before the midterm. And if you guys haven't seen Kim on a live stream before, join us, because she ask anything you want. This lady knows everything about this stuff, and she knows everything about most states. And she's also named Kim, and she's in Kim's state, so she knows about New Jersey real well.
Oh, that's awesome.
But she also knows about federal, and she's going to be sitting down with us because I really wanted some of her time before the election. So if you guys are a little bit wondering like what's going on, she'll be able to really, really break this down. So I'm trying to put it to the side till then. But
Nice.
Congratulations, Tommy. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. As always, you can reach out to me at steve@ridesharerodeo.com. And, of course, I want to thank Dash Theory TV, Hannibal's Hungry, Kim's Side Money Plans, and even Gary, who wasn't here, but he was here in spirit.
He was here in giveaway.
But
I think someone said in the comments he was watching a movie.
Okay. So that's it, guys. Come back next week, because I had a bunch of stuff that we didn't even get to. This was all a DoorDash week, and it just never seems to stop. It seems like we could have just picked on any one company today. It could have been Uber easy. It even could have been Instacart, because there was a whole thing about their IPO delay. So
we never pick on Instacart.
That could have been a whole episode, but I really did want to hammer that in tonight, but there wasn't time. But thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week. Peace.